and he's just
Yeah.
flying by the foot of his sleeve.
Hello and welcome to Spit Take. My name is Adam, and joining me as always is Rick and Sam. Say hello, guys.
Hey, this is Rick, the Outer Assassin. You can find me on Twitter at LBRT Social Work. And also, I want to promote myself, Warriors Respite Podcast. I have my own individual podcast I put out once a week. And how about you, Sam?
Hello, guys. You can find me here.
We're only 2 weeks away from Christmas at the time of this recording, and figure we'd spend some good amount of time talking of our favorite Christmas movies. But before we get into that, we recently launched a new webpage, which can be found at www.spittakers.wixsite.com/spit-take. That is a mouthful, and we are working on getting that shortened down a little
I'll
bit.
give you a mouthful.
In there, you'll find all of the clips, blog posts, and links to our social media sites. We also have it posted on our Facebook and Twitter account for easy access. We're going to start everything off, as always, with a little bit of entertainment news. Rick, what's on the agenda?
Well, it's been announced that American Pie 5 is in the works. What do you guys think about American Pie 5 in this day and age?
I'm trying to remember if I saw American Pie 4.
I don't remember if I've seen it. The last American Pie I remember seeing didn't have like Stifler and Jason Biggs and all that stuff in it. Like they had all those other like movies that didn't have like the main cast, but it was like Stifler's cousin or something like that, or brother or something like that. I don't remember that.
Yes.
It was
Yeah,
actually
I
pretty
think
funny.
they did like a series. Yeah, they did a series of movies based on, I think it was like Bandcamp and a couple other ones. I want to say American Wedding was the fourth one, but that could have been the third.
That one was actually pretty good, but I don't think that was the last one. I think there was American Reunion.
No, it wasn't.
There was
American Reunion. I'm personally really looking forward to American Pie 5, the American Pie Grandkids.
Kids.
But I mean, honestly, if we can see Sean William Scott in something again, I'll be happy, because that guy is, in my opinion, probably one of the nicest guys in Hollywood.
But it would
guy
be
is-
hilarious if he was like super like woke, but like hilariously woke, like immediately like the social justice guy on South Park.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. PC principal.
And then we find out that he's just trying to bang some mom, a MILF.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, back to your point, Sean William Scott is a great actor, and I love him in everything he's in. And he's got like a good range.
Have you seen
'cause he can
Goon?
play. Yes, I love that
Oh
movie.
yeah, that was good.
It's
Such a great movie.
If you don't know what Goon is, Sam, tell people what Goon is.
So he is basically, the premise of the movie is a hockey team is failing, and they dude jumps the wall and tries to fight Sean William Scott, and Sean William Scott just beats the pants off the guy, and they bring him in as the enforcer, and he basically brings their team into a whole new era. It's a fantastic movie.
They basically hire him to be the enforcer.
He can't skate.
He's got a tennis one called Balls Out too, if you haven't seen it, and it's hilarious.
I've seen that. I saw that a while ago. But like just the range he has, because like Goon was kind of a dark comedy in a way. Like it had funny parts, but it was a little bit more serious, and you kind of got to see a serious side in that movie. But conversely, if you watch movies like American Pie, where he plays kind of the dumb jock idiot, you've got your two ranges right there, and then you got the one with The Rock, one of my favorite movies.
Yes. The Rundown.
I'm trying to remember The Rundown. Thank you. The Rundown, which is awesome and probably one of my favorite Sean William Scott movies. So good. The Rock is amazing in it, but it's so good.
Oh,
a little thunder, a little lightning.
What's that movie? He just got a cameo in it.
Is it Role Models?
Crap.
Old School?
Old School. That's what I was thinking. It was Old School. Yeah.
Yeah, when he's a pet wrangler or whatever, or
Yes.
the petting zoo wrangler.
That was fantastic. I'm pretty sure all of that was just ad lib. Like,
probably
none of his lines were written, and he just made it all up as he went.
You don't remember Role Models with McLovin?
Yeah,
Role
that was a
Models
good
is
one
great.
too.
Yeah.
Roma is one of my top probably 15 movies, somewhere in there. But I could watch that anytime it's on TV. I think it's hilarious, and it took just kind of a very interesting turn with everything, and actually probably got a lot of people into LARPing.
Yeah.
Live action role playing, if you're not familiar.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
American Pie.
I mean, it felt like the movie version of that one episode of Supernatural.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so American Pie 5, I'll probably watch it at some point. I'm probably not going to pay to go see it in the theater. But I have, for the most part, as far as I remember, I've seen all of them so far. I don't know if I've seen 4. I'd have to look at what the premise was, because if I did see it, it was a long time ago.
I'm just curious about how safe it's got to be. That's all I'm looking at. Anyways, next, GTA 6 trailer leak. Now, the trailer leak, it wasn't supposed to come out. The game comes out in 2025. The trailer is basically, first of all, there's a story about this woman that's coming out of prison, I guess. And then there was a bunch of what am I looking? Parodies of memes of Florida people. So I posted on the Facebook page of the Florida Joker, who wants $2 million for selling his, or for using his likeness in the commercial. And I'm thinking, oh, how many other people are going to want that? Literally, they have online a video of footage, right next to each other of the video of the people in the video. And so,
I mean, if he's going to get $2 million, then Jared Leto needs to get half of that, because Florida Joker is literally Jared Leto.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the trailer, it is funny when they took all that stuff from just Florida news articles and everything. You see all these different things that go on. And it's one of my favorite things to read. And it's probably some of the only clickbait I'll hit nowadays is when it's like, oh, stories from Florida. I want to see those stories because they're hilarious and outrageous. Like, it is a different level down in Florida. They're somewhere else. I love it. And I'm there to read those stories. But I thought the trailer looked good. Obviously, there's no gameplay footage in it. It's just, various, computer graphics, CGI, animation stuff.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling it'll be good. If it's half as good as GTA 5, it's going to be a hit.
Yeah.
I mean, so going back to Florida Man and stuff like that, I'm sure y'all have not watched any of these videos. Have y'all seen any Man Shorts videos?
No.
So it's an entire YouTube channel. It's a fantastic YouTube channel. The guy who runs it is a veteran as well, as but all of the entire channel is basically the premise of one long running D&D session where it's all written down, but they started off with Florida Man D&D. And it is fantastic. I highly recommend if you just want to spend 10 minutes on a video and decide if it was just dumb or if it was funny dumb, take some time, watch Man Shorts, MANN.
Now, my thing about GTA 6, there's these kids saying they got so many memories of GTA and GTA 5 that are like 20. And I'm like, you don't know anything about GTA, okay? You don't have any memories of GTA. I'm sorry. GTA 5 was shit, okay? GTA 5 was not good. It was not, okay? I was there. I'm old man yelling at clouds right now. Okay.
Sure. Are you talking about the story though, or are you talking about the online?
I'm talking about I don't even care about online.
Okay.
I'm talking about GTA. It's no different from GTA 2. I mean, like, okay, GTA 1, first of all, was just, completely just a new thing, all in itself.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can beat up hookers. It was fun.
Well, that was isometric.
So,
too.
And it was GTA. Yeah, GTA 2. We were up all night banging hookers, seeing what ramps we can go down, shooting cops, driving around, driving away from cops and stuff, just killing people. I mean,
And then we started playing GTA.
it was just the most amazing. Yeah. And then we turned on the game, you know, and then
after we were done killing hookers.
After we, and we're like, good night, Mom. And then we went in our room, and then, but like, it just amazes me because there's like these 10-year-olds getting excited about GTA 6. And it's like, what the fuck do you know about GTA?
Well, and I think that, because I remember playing GTA 3 when I was probably in high school. I want to say like early high school was when I was playing GTA 3. And so a lot of these kids who are like 20 years old, played GTA 5, weren't even born yet when I was playing GTA 3.
That's what I'm saying. What are you getting excited about? You've never played GTA.
Yeah. And none of them have ever played Vice City, which is obviously the best one.
It was the best one.
I'm just saying GTA 2 is the granddaddy of them all. But yes, Vice City, like one of the greatest games ever. Absolutely.
I like GTA 4.
So
GTA 4.
I mean, so that's what we're looking at here is, in my opinion, what 6 looks like is a return to Vice City. I know it's not Vice City, but it's still Florida.
Right.
And I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be good. I don't think I will play the story, even though it's Bonnie and Clyde looking, and I'm all in for that. But I do want to see if they, get rid of the flying Deathmobiles that they have in the the online play of 5, because that drives me insane unless I'm in my own flying Deathmobile.
Sure. Now GTA 5 did do some different things, like you can use your phone to like connect it and stuff like that. There was some like really cool stuff you can do with it, I will say. But I'm just saying, like, you didn't play GTA 5 and get to know GTA. Okay. Excuse
me. Yeah.
Okay. Did you guys have anything else to add, or you want to say something?
Nope. GTA 5 comes out 2025. We'll see what happens.
All right. Let's move on to
bring better heists.
I wanted to say something about Cyberpunk update. I know you guys haven't played this, but I think this is important to point out because this game came out a couple years ago. First of all, if you guys don't know about Cyberpunk, this was originally a tabletop game, just like Dungeons and Dragons, created in 1988. And they came out with this game in 2020. It was announced in 2018, and there was this big excitement for it. People were very excited for it, and then there was a big disappointment when it came out in 2020. I didn't buy it because there's a big disappointment. And it's had this big resurgence after the DLC that came out, Phantom Liberty. And pretty much they had this huge update recently, update 2.1. So basically 2 years after the game's released, the game is finished. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing because the game's a stellar game now, but it's like the game's finished 2 years after it's done, which I think it's kind of bullshit. You didn't release a full game. At the same time, it's a really good game. But I do want to highlight some of the things that you can do in it. I did kind of check it out. They have a kind of a subway station in it, or kind of the L. If you're in Chicago, it's kind of like the L. So it's called an NCART City Pass. V, who's the main character, he can invite his love interest into his apartment. So actually which is one good thing I like about the game, is you create these like friendships and relationships in the game, which is a great experience to have in this game. And so you do get shot down by this girl, Pan Am, and it freaking sucks. Well, now you can bring her back to your apartment. So I haven't done it yet, but I'm looking forward to it. You can listen to your radio on foot, which Fallout you were able to do a long time ago. They have sightseeing and binoculars with these binoculars all around town, which you were able to do in games a long time ago. So they have all this stuff. They've actually made bosses harder. Adam, what is his name? Adam Bomb? I forget his name. I know, Sam, you played you played the or you watched the show, but he's actually one of the bosses in the game. He's
Adam Smasher.
Adam Smasher. He's kind of a pushover in the game, but they made him harder in the game now. So they made the bosses kind of challenging, because the bosses are kind of easy in the game. So I just wanted to point that out. What do you guys think about this, though? Like, releasing an unfinished game and then finishing it 2 years after its release.
It
Well,
seems
we talked
pretty.
about this.
Go ahead.
We talked about this 2 episodes ago. And
Mm.
we were chatting about how we didn't like the unreleased games and everything. And um, I think that they kind of rushed it because they kept pushing the release date back because they were still working on it. But people were getting upset because they really wanted to play the game. They kept pushing it back, and finally they were like, "We just have to get this out there." And usually, when something like that happens, it's because the developer's running out of funds. Their budget's running out, and they're like, we have to get something out there so people start buying it. We can replenish the funds and finish this game, which is just kind of poor planning on their part. But typically that's what you'll see. And I've read a lot about that because you guys know I do some programming on the side. I'm designing my own game right now, and I've read different ways that you can kind of monetize before you have a finished game. And that is part of it. That's a suggestion they make, is releasing it in the alpha. And I know Cyberpunk wasn't released in alpha. It was released as a full game technically, but it really wasn't. But that is a way that they say, hey, if you need funds in order to finish your game, that's a good way to do it. Release, a mostly finished product, but then you're like updating for free and everything. So I have a strong feeling that was a big part of it.
Well, they are, and it is the game or the company, CD Projekt Red, that created Witcher, and they are working on a new Witcher. And I guarantee you, if they pull that shit again, there will be
people gonna be pissed.
People will still buy it. People will still buy. That's why game companies have been doing this for years.
You think?
Years.
You think?
It started with Horse Armor in Oblivion. They have been doing this for years. People will still buy it until people stop buying beta games for full prices. The game companies will still continue doing it.
Oh, I won't buy it.
That has been standard operating procedure for all of these game companies for the last 8 to 10 years. It is ridiculous. It is bull. But until the vast majority of consumers stop buying these, they're going to keep doing it. And I mean, you gotta respect the game that they're able to put this stuff out there and have it be a contender for game of the year for some of these things, but put out a 40% game, and then they give you another 20%, and they're like, "Hey, you should be happy about this. Now it's finally finished." No, we're gonna sell you the other 40% as a downloadable content. Come on.
Well, and there's and it's different when you're looking at big studios. When you're looking at things like Rockstar or Bungie or Bethesda, and they're doing that kind of thing. It's different when you're looking at like indie developers, when you got a team of like 1 to 10 people, and they're like, hey, we need to get this alpha game out, and they make slow improvements on it, and they continuously make it better. It's a very different thing. So that somebody's starting off with this great idea, and they put a lot more heart into it than a lot of these big developers do, because it's still, hey, it's still about the money. They're doing it for a reason, but it's also their baby. So, and I mean, I've seen a few games now that have been solo developed, one person programming it, and it looks better than some of these AAA games that are coming out from these large companies. They're looking better. They're taking their time. They're putting it in there. They're buying some assets from the store, but I mean, it look good. Yeah.
I mean,
I love Elite Dangerous. It's a great game.
They got
it at the same time. I'm going to go back to two of my babies. You've got Larian, who put out Baldur's Gate 3 like 3 years ago as beta, and let people get into it, play test it for them. And basically they went by what people are saying and what are they responding to? What do we need to fix? And then finally came out with a full release. That is, in my opinion, a fantastic way to do it. If you don't have a full game, but you need to keep the momentum going, do that. On the other hand, you've got, you've got Larian, who is a studio the size of I want to say like 300 to 600 people, which more than one person is called like a AAA studio, and I don't buy that. When you've got Bungie as a studio who got bought by Sony and still kept their solo rights to all of their assets, purchased by Sony, and they just in the last month fired that amount of people.
Mm.
And Bungie
Well,
hasn't put out a full game, and let's see, Destiny's been going out for almost 9 years now, I think. They haven't put out
mhm,
a full game in that amount of time.
yeah. Well, and that's another part of like the gaming industry and the studios. And there's actually the developers, not the developers, the programmers and the artists, everybody who goes into this game they are trying to unionize this now. So what happens is they announce this big title, they hire in hundreds of people to work on it. Game gets released, everybody gets laid off. And it's kind of a cycle with that. So they are trying to unionize right now in order to kind of not so much prevent that, but to get paid a benefit after projects are completed. And it's not uncommon for the big studios to do this, and that's why it's not uncommon to see people who are bouncing from one studio to the next. It's
That might
an
be
interesting industry.
that might be the last remaining industry where I actually agree that unionizing might be a good idea. Every other
Yeah,
industry, it is not necessary. But
yeah,
game development, yeah, it might be necessary there because the people in game dev have been fucked over for far too long.
yeah. And a lot of times they are working on contracts, and they just jump from one studio to the next at developing games. So, but
As long as
they
it's
get screwed
lucrative
over at
enough,
the end of it. Yeah,
contract work can be
usually
good.
they get. Well, from what I understand is that they're vastly underpaid right now too.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, interesting topic. We should probably move on to the next
I
one.
just miss when gaming was simple.
Yes, we all do.
Miss my golden eye.
Yeah. Well, so next thing, we shared a trailer the other day for a new movie over on Hulu. It's called Self-Reliance. It has Jake Johnson, as well as Anna Kendrick and Andy Samberg. But the movie looks pretty funny. Yeah, I like Jake Johnson. I loved him in New Girl. He was the best part of that show. Anna Kendrick, I love in anything. I'll see her in anything. And Andy Samberg is always cracked me up. So already you got three winners right there. But the whole movie, the premise is basically that Jake Johnson gets offered like, hey, you know what? These people are going to hunt you. And if you survive and make it to the end of, whatever time, you're going to get paid money. So Jake Johnson, what are you guys doing?
Oh.
You're
So
on
anyways,
undercut.
I'm undercutting it.
So Rick, you go ahead and explain it.
No,
You
you
go.
go
You
ahead.
explain.
No, I think
Okay,
you're
so
doing a
I-
good job. No, go ahead.
All right. So, anyways, Jake Johnson, he's told he's told by Andy Samberg, who plays Andy Samberg. He gets told basically, hey, we're gonna hunt you, and and if you survive this long, then you'll get paid this amount of money. But he can't be attacked while he's around other people. So his whole thing is trying to stay around other people. He ends up in hilarious situations. The trailer looks pretty good. I had some good laughs with it. Anna Kendrick ends up coming in, and she looks like she's in kind of the similar situation, and they work together to kind of survive. That's kind of the premise of the whole movie seems.
The dudes that he finds that stick with him are hilarious. Where he's like,
Yeah.
where were you at? I'm taking a shit. That's
That's
hilarious.
weird. And he's cuddled with him in
Yes.
bed so he can't get killed.
No, I was saying you're undercutting it because you're making it sound less funny than what it. I was
Oh.
cracking up when I was watching this trailer, dude. First,
Fair enough.
I tried
Watch the
watching
trailer because it's funny.
I tried watching the trailer a couple times and I keep getting distracted. And then finally I sat and watched the trailer and I was cracking up. I was laughing my ass off. I'm like, okay, I'm watching this movie. This movie looks like my kind of movie. It looks so freaking funny.
Watch the trailer. Go to our Facebook page. Watch our watch not our trailer. Watch the trailer because I'm
made it.
yeah. I'm not doing it justice. I'm not doing it
It
justice.
looks so funny. I was laughing so hard. It is such a funny concept. I
Yeah.
mean, it's kind of like there's been a lot of movies about people hunting people lately. So it's kind of like a parody of that. It seems
Yeah.
like.
Right. But yeah, like I said, I was watching it, and Jake Johnson's somebody who is just funny in everything
Yeah.
he's in. Anna Kendrick is always funny. Andy Samberg, like Brooklyn Nine-Nine, was a great show because of Andy Samberg. That's why, I mean, all of the characters were great, but Andy Samberg as kind of the lead was what made that show
That
so
old
fun.
weird
So
guy.
I
Yeah.
have not seen the trailer yet,
What?
but the way y'all
Oh.
are describing it, it sounds like Running Man meets Tag.
Kind of.
Okay.
Tag was actually good. I like that movie.
I like that movie too.
Meets what's that movie where that woman where the family has to hunt the woman. Never mind.
Hunger Games.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
No, they're in a mansion and they have to hunt the woman.
Oh,
Clue.
I know what you're talking about. I haven't seen that movie, but I know what you're talking about. I don't remember the name of it.
I'm gonna look it up.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
I'll
you
have to-
look that
you
up.
probably
We'll
have to
keep
cut a lot
talking.
of this out because I sound stupid. But
No, it's fine. That's what I do every time.
movie.
And we never cut.
But yeah.
Ready or not?
Sometimes
It's
it's
like
just
Ready or Not.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Yeah, I never saw that movie. I know the
Neither have I.
premise though. I mean, you pretty much just explained it, but yeah, I mean, it looks funny. I think that it's a great comedy group to do it. I think they're the right people for the movie, and I hope that it doesn't suck.
And The Hunt.
And the
You ever
Hunt.
seen
Yeah,
The Hunt?
there's a lot of movies like that. No, I haven't seen that
That's
one.
where it's basically like Democrats are hunting conservatives.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty funny movie.
Oh, there's a lot of movies like that out there where people are hunting and trying to kill each other. And this, I mean, this one again, it looks hilarious. I was cracking up when I saw the trailer, and I had to get it up on our Facebook page as soon as possible. And it's going to release straight to Hulu streaming. So we'll probably end up watching that and do a fun review of it. But we're excited to see that. Again, the name of the movie is Self-Reliance. Let's see. I guess next, the live action Zelda.
Yes, this is going to be. Hopefully, they go through with it because I feel like they've been talking about this my whole life. I remember them talking about this back when I was in college in like 2006. I remember them releasing a fake trailer back in like 2005, 2006, and me thinking it was real.
Yep.
And I think they're talking about releasing it on Netflix, if I'm not mistaken. But anyways, this
Was it
is
Netflix
something
or
that-
Amazon? Because either one sounds like where they would put that out.
huh?
Netflix or Amazon? Because either one sounds like where that could go.
Well, I think originally what the idea was Mario did so well. So they were going to do the idea originally was like, okay, we're going to do something in the Mario universe. But now,
Which I just watched, by the way.
huh?
It's good.
I just
liked
watched
it.
Mario.
Oh, Mario, yeah, it was good for what it
Yeah.
was. Yeah, it was pretty good. I didn't hate it. It wasn't the greatest. I thought Jack Black was a great Bowser.
If we can get away from that stupid song. I hate that song so much. I hate it so much.
But
If I could live my entire life without ever hearing that song again.
but Zelda
be
has
happy.
so much great lore that
Yeah.
I just hope they do it justice. And that's the thing is video game movies have such a history of going wrong that I am afraid for what they might do for this. And I am such a huge Zelda fan that I am afraid for what they might do, who they might pick, especially because there is some kind of issues with Mario that I had for some choices that they made, for some choices they might make with Zelda herself that I am not going to speak about. But
Oh, she got a fat ass.
I mean, I'd be fine with her having a fat ass, but I'd be
Well,
fine with Link having
so-
a fat ass. You know, whatever.
I have faith in the movie because Nintendo is retaining the rights to it. Because they talked about how after the Super Mario movie was made back in the 90s, and how terrible it was, Nintendo refused to put its characters out there in movies anymore. Like they were like, "You fucked this up. We're done." They got the rights back, and that's and they were like, "Hey, we're gonna make an attempt at this Mario movie with, the animation is there now. We can pull this off." And it came out. I liked it. I thought it was a good movie. it's not perfect, but I mean, I thought it was good. I mean, it was much better than what we got with Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo. So
I still think if you go back and watch that movie and you don't think about Mario, it's not a good movie, but it's an entertaining movie.
agreed. If it was not called Super Mario Brothers,
Yeah,
it would have been an okay movie.
it
But
is a solid early 90s movie.
yeah,
That movie was
yeah,
terrible. And when I went to the theater and watched it, I knew it. I was 10 years old. I was excited to watch Mario. I think I was 9 or 10 years old. I did not understand the concept of criticizing movies at that time. Okay. I remember watching like a Tom Selleck movie and thinking that was a good movie. Um, when I
Hey,
watched that,
Quigley Down Under is a good movie.
when I was watching that movie, I was thinking like, this is a terrible movie. I was 10 years old watching a freaking Mario movie, excited to watch a Mario movie, coming out of there thinking it was a terrible movie. How do you at 10 years old walk out on a Mario movie thinking it was horrible? Like I
yeah,
at that time could not wrap my head around watching a bad Mario movie. I don't know how you could sit
yeah.
there and say that was a good movie. I have no idea how you could
If
possibly
our
play
listeners
Mario and like
if our listeners have not figured out by now, I like to say things that will just trigger
like
Rick and put
if
him
you
on a tangent because it is
if you
so entertaining to me.
if you think that was a good movie, are you in your garage right now? Do you have like a mallet in there somewhere?
Oh no, it's still in my hunting stuff.
Listen, that movie was so terrible. I only saw it like 10 times.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
god! And you're not in a
I'm
mental
not even
hospital
joking.
right now.
I'm not even joking.
Well,
I
hey,
probably have seen that movie like 10 times at least.
I do have a mallet.
Um,
Very close.
He does
Oh,
have a mallet. Look
Freddie,
at that.
you might want to turn
You
that
can't see the video, but he's got a
around.
mallet.
Oh,
But yes, so I think Zelda will be good. I think that they'll put a lot of effort into it, but we won't know anything until we start seeing some more released about it. We are pretty far along already in this recording. Do we just skip over to the Christmas
no, we got
movies?
one more. I want to say.
All right, all right. Let's knock out the last
There
one.
is one more. It's going to be a short one that I'm pretty excited about. It's that there at the Video Game Awards there was an announcement that Sega will be remaking some new old games. Okay, from the old Sega Genesis: Crazy Taxi, Golden Axe, Jet Set Radio, Shinobi, and Streets of Rage. There was a newer Streets of Rage. I am
Mhm.
just excited about the prospect of a new Crazy Taxi. That's
Yeah.
all I'm excited about. That's all I wanted to say. Actually, I am actually kind of excited about the prospect of a new Golden Axe. I don't know if you
I was going to say Golden Axe and Jet Set are the two that I would be the most excited about from that list.
actually Shinobi. I'd play that too. That was great. But like the idea of like a modern day, I mean, even remember the Simpsons version of the Crazy Taxi? I
Yeah.
think I have it down there. I could probably pick that up and play it. Such a fun game. Crazy Taxi
was
is
fun.
probably one of my
It was,
top 20 games.
Simpsons Hit and Run.
Yeah, so I
That's what it
got
was
that
called.
for yeah. That's all I wanted to say. Is I'm excited. There's a new Crazy Taxi and Golden Axe coming out, and Shinobi Jet Set Radio. I'm excited about that.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I really like Crazy Taxi. I played the shit out of that game at the arcade and on PlayStation. So I would be excited to play another one.
Oh yeah.
Cool. Cool. Like, let's get into our topic today. Our can't miss Christmas movies every year. So these are the movies that we watch every year, right around Christmas time that we absolutely love.
And there is one that is
and-
number one, and it is White Christmas. And you can fight me, but White Christmas is the absolute best Christmas movie of all time.
You know,
So
there
let's,
are-
before Rick gets into it, hold on. Before Rick gets into it, because Sam is trying to trigger Rick right now. Let's start with White Christmas, and then we'll move on to Rick's top
Oh, you
pick.
don't want to start with the
Because
best.
me and
Okay.
yeah, fine, whatever. So, because me and Sam both agree on White Christmas, it is one of our all-time favorite Christmas movies. It is our favorite Christmas movie. Came out in 1954, starring Bing Crosby and Danny Kaye. Directed by Michael Curtis, who was also known for directing Casablanca, another old classic movie. And one of the reasons that I love White Christmas so much is that the movie is just, it's fun. It's unlike most other Christmas movies. It doesn't have to deal with the dad working too hard, and ignoring his kids and learning a valuable lesson. It was a fun movie about two World War II veterans, who go and they're in show business. They go and help their general who's down on his luck with the place up in Vermont that he owns, a little ski lodge. The music in it is amazing. It is a musical if you haven't seen it. The music's amazing. The dancing's great, except by Rosemary Clooney, who is a terrible dancer.
Yeah.
And you can tell if you go back and watch that movie, she was terrible. But overall, their performances are great. The comedy is good. It's a classic. And Sam, go.
And if I'm looking at the rest of this list and I'm thinking in my head of every other Christmas movie, it is, I think, the only Christmas movie that spans years in the movie. I don't know any other movie put out that can have just years spanned and still be considered a Christmas movie, because it's not all done during Christmas either. But at the same time, we learned today in our private text chat that It's a Wonderful Life, I don't know if I would count that, because that's in his like dream. It's mainly an entire dream sequence. It is a fantastic movie. But we learned earlier today in the text chat that Rick hates and utterly despises musicals, and there are many musical numbers in White Christmas.
I wouldn't say
they're all
despise. I
fantastic.
like some musicals. I just
No, you hate them all. That's what I heard.
Well, and I like White Christmas. Bing Crosby's his low singing voice mixed with Danny Kaye's amazing dancing and stuff. It is just a fun movie to watch. The set designs are excellent. I mean, especially for 1954. It's great. And some of the songs in there are like stuck in my head forever. The one where, so anytime like I'm having a rough day at work or I'm getting a hard time from my family, I'll start singing I wish I was back in the army. I'll start singing that in my head.
See, I was thinking sisters.
It's the truth. No,
sisters.
No,
sisters.
My actual sisters actually love that song. I don't know why I said my actual sister. My sisters love that song, and it's like one that's kind of their thing. Not my fake sisters, my actual sisters.
The best version in the movie is when Bing Crosby and Danny Kaye are singing that song and doing the routine.
Absolutely.
That is hilarious.
And that was just a bit that they did. It wasn't even supposed to be in the movie originally.
Yep.
It was just a bit they were doing to make people laugh, and then they added it into the movie. But like, there's just so many iconic scenes from there, and they hit on a lot of things with veterans and getting out of the military. The general, like how downtrodden he is after he gets the letter saying that the army doesn't want him back, because that's what he was like. I can't do this anymore. He's like, I want to go back to the army, which is why one of the reasons they put on the big show.
Yep.
But it's such a great movie, and again, it's just so much fun. It's an older movie, and if you haven't seen it before, turn it on. I can't remember what channel it's streaming on right now, but it is a fantastic movie. Give it a watch, and you'll probably enjoy it.
And I'm fairly certain you can stream it on HBO.
Fantastic, yeah. So give it a watch. I've seen it already this year. Love it. It's by far my top Christmas movie.
Rick, what you got?
Well, the number one greatest movie of all time.
Die Hard.
And Christmas movie. Not only Christmas movie, but greatest movie of all time. Christmas Vacation, 1989. Chevy Chase, Beverly D'Angelo, Randy Quaid, Johnny Galecki, Juliette Lewis, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, Marianne Flynn, Brian Doyle Murray, Cody Berger, Doris Roberts, Mae Questel, one of the greatest of all time, John Randolph, Sam McCurry, E.G. Marshall. I mean, the list goes on and on. The movie just has so much quotable material in it. I watch it. My whole family watches it. In fact, the whole family's coming this year, and we're watching on Christmas Eve, like we do every year, right before we go to bed. This is a yearly tradition, and it's been a yearly tradition. I don't know how long. And we only watch it once a year. Some people watch it multiple times a year. have certain rules. And Randy Quaid is probably one of the dumbest MFers that I've ever seen in this movie. It's so funny to see
So
him
good.
on the side of the road yelling "shitter's full." I don't know how many people I see every year, more and more people with the Blackhawks jersey that says Griswold on it.
Still, that's discounting the best scene with Randy Quaid in the movie, and that is when they're walking through the like Walmart or whatever, and he's just throwing
He's throwing
sacks
the
of dog food on,
and he puts the
and
light
he
bulb
had,
on.
and he's wearing these tight dang polyester pants, and he's just got a hog in there. It's the funniest thing because you can watch that scene 3, 4, 5 times, and then you finally see that, and you're like, "Holy crap! They layered that in there."
Now, and I will say that Christmas Vacation is my number 2 Christmas movie. I do like it. It is a fun movie, and you're right. It is probably the most quotable Christmas movie of all time. There's no doubt about that. Now, what's sad about Randy Quaid is when you start to like really think about his backstory being a Vietnam veteran who got shot in the head.
Yep.
Now the story starts to get a little sad, and you feel a little bit bad laughing at his antics because he's basically a brain damaged veteran.
Yep.
but and there's like a lot of fan theories on that, and they're kind of fun to read. But like, I mean, really, it's from the point where he's talking about the plate in his head and everything, and it's you kind of feel bad after you learn that. And I'm sorry if I ruined that character for anybody, but yes, that's exactly who he is. And for all we know, he was brain dead before he was in the army, so we don't.
I didn't even
probably
get to the
was.
part where Aunt Bethany is probably my favorite character of all time. You hear that? It's kind of a squeaking sound. You couldn't hear a dump truck driving through a nitroglycerine plant. She is the greatest character.
Blessing.
She say hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. She is the most adorable thing. She was Betty Boop. She was Olive Oil
She
in
was.
Popeye.
Yep.
She is the most adorable thing. She is my favorite. I'm gonna get her her tattooed on me, on my ass. Probably not on my ass, but I'm gonna get her. I'm gonna get her tattooed because she's like one of my like favorite character, probably my number 1 character of all time. I just love her and adore her.
Of the two,
She is funny, and
of the 2 famous people I want to get a hug from, she's 1 and Dolly Parton's number 2. So yeah.
Oh yeah, Dolly Parton. Yeah, she is up there with her.
well, yeah, well, and one of the best things about Christmas Vacation, I think, is that Clark Griswold is the everyman, and he's so relatable as a dad just trying to put a good Christmas together for his family. He's going above and beyond. He has all these wild ambitions, and he's just trying to do this all for them. And it's like so relatable. And I think more so now that I'm a father, than when I was a kid watching it. When I was a kid, I was like, oh, he's so funny. Look at him. He's so stupid. And now I'm like, he's doing his best. Leave him alone.
Fix the newel post.
Fix it up.
Where you plan on putting that? Bend over and I'll show you. You got not a lot of nerve talking to me like that. I wasn't talking to you.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Eddie,
Merry Christmas.
I wouldn't
Go
be more
fuck yourself.
surprised if I woke up my headphones with a carpet.
Kiss my ass. Kiss his ass. Kiss her ass. Happy Hanukkah.
Oh my god. Such good lines in that movie.
That's
It
not
is
Danielle and
quotable.
I,
not the greatest movie of all time. I like
Danielle and I are going to get shirts that say, "Why is the carpet wet, Todd?" I don't know, Margot.
Me and Jess already
I'm
got
getting
there.
those. Yeah, I'm getting them too.
And it's what
We got those sweaters 2 years ago, and we wore them at the country club because we're posh, and everybody was like, "What are you wearing?" I'm like, "You people are freaking like dumb. How do you not
Heathens.
know this?"
well, and it's one of the few good National Lampoon movies. They put out a lot. There's not that many good ones. And you can probably name them on about one hand. We won't do that right now, but someday we will talk about it more in depth. But Christmas Vacation was excellent. It's the best of the vacation movies.
Van Wilder.
It is. Van Wilder was good.
That's the only one I can
but-
think of.
Yeah, well, look up National Lampoon on IMDb and look through those movies and see which one of those ones you've seen, and most of them you haven't because they were terrible.
Mm.
Kind of like Trauma.
But you know, you got Groundhog's Day,
Oh,
you've got the
yeah.
vacation movies, you got Animal House. Like, you know, there's
Yeah,
they're
well,
few and far
so good.
between. They're few and far between of National Lampoon actual wins. But this is their biggest, I would say. This one and Animal House.
Yeah. Well, the other, like, there was a couple other vacations,
Yes.
and
Vegas Vacation's good. I like Vegas Vacation.
I was like, the
I
worst
like
one.
European Vacation.
European Vacation was good with
Ugh.
John Candy. Park's
Yeah.
closed.
I even like the reboot one where it was Rusty, where it was Ed Helms
Helms.
playing it.
And
I
then
thought that was a funny
they
movie.
do have,
All
they
right,
did
all
have,
right, all right.
they did have a sequel to Christmas Vacation that was terrible, but they do have another sequel coming out and HBO apparently.
We're getting a
With,
little lost in the weeds. Who wants to
We
take
are. We always do.
who wants to take the next Christmas movie?
I'll take the next one. A Christmas Story, 1983. Peter Billingsley, directed by Bob Clark. Okay. A Christmas Story. I love that movie. I really do. It hits differently the older you get. Sam was mentioning that earlier, and I'm not going to take that bullet point from him. But the movie itself is great. It's, you know, just this kid telling the story. Now, again, I'm going to talk about this because you go back and look at this, and in the beginning of the movie, he talks about his greatest, you know, hey, this is my greatest Christmas memory. But he gets shit on that whole movie,
Yeah.
which makes the rest of his life very sad. Like, shoots his eye out, gets kicked in the face by Santa. He gets soap in his mouth. He beats up a bully. Like, all these like terrible things happen to him. But it's his best Christmas. And again, that gets super sad. But if you don't think about it in those terms, it's a fun movie. It is. And, you know, him playing with his wild imaginations, I have no doubt things like that was kind of like the inspiration for shows like Scrubs, where, you know, he goes off in his little fantasy land and imagines these things. And it is an overall fun movie. I watch it probably 2 or 3 times Christmas Day when it's playing on, I think it's TNT, whatever they call it now, 24 hours for the day. But it's always a good movie to have on in the background. It is, it's just so excellent. And yeah, I'll let Sam hit his bullet point now.
So I grew up absolutely hating this movie, despising it. I could not understand why there was 24 hours of this movie on, what was it, like TCM or something like that. I couldn't understand it. I was like, the dad is an asshole. He's an overbearing jerk, all this stuff. And then I watched it again this last weekend. And I was like, that's a good dad. Like he's trying. He's doing everything he can to keep that roof over his family and provide for his family. He's taking his kid to see Santa. He's taking his other kid to see the parade, like on the same night. Like that's a good dad. And it was eye-opening to me because I hadn't watched it in probably 5 or 6 years. And I've had 2 kids since then. And it was eye-opening to me that my entire viewpoint on him had completely changed. And like I almost to the point of tears that I was like, man, like he's doing the best he can. He's working hard to keep his family and make his family have a good Christmas. And
one of the best scenes in that though with the dad is where he chases the dogs out of the house and he's just yelling nonsense at them. And he's just out there going, no. So great.
The best scene with the dad is when the tire blows on the side of the road. The tire blows on the side of the road. Yeah. He's out there trying to swap the tire out, and the son comes out. And that's the first instance of oh fudge. And the dad's like, what'd you say? And he looks at him. He's like, get back in the car. He's not mad. He's not angry. He's not yelling or anything like that. He's just like, just go sit back in the car. And then he sits back down in the car, or the dad comes back in after swapping the tires, sits back down in the car, looks at his wife and says, you know what your son just said? Like that right there was just, that's dad to me. Like, holy cow.
Yeah.
That just nailed it.
Yeah. No, that is a great scene. I just love like that, just his rambling as he's chasing the dogs out. For some reason, that makes me laugh every time.
Yeah.
and you get to the end where you understand why it's such a good movie, or why it's such a good story for him. Just like his family eating out at the Chinese place after all the stuff happens. And, it's just like, hey, my family was together even on this terrible fucking day.
So the dad, I just think it's funny because the dad's just kind of adorable because like he's so excited about his lamp. First of all, like he's just an adorable guy. Yeah, he loves his family and stuff like that. Number two, Ralphie, he does get shit on, and everybody feels it when he beats up the bully. Like,
oh, dude.
Everybody who gets shit on every day at work and everything feels it come out of you when he just beats the shit out of that bully.
Even
great
more.
That bully's a great actor, by the way, in a lot of stuff.
Even more, I felt it because he's beating up the bully and saying all the cuss words, but he's got tears coming out of his eyes. And man, the first time I ever dealt with something like that, it was the same thing. It was like, I'm whooping shit, but tears are coming out of my eyes, and I don't know what to do with the emotions other than keep pounding fist. Like, you feel that because it just brings you back to that moment as a kid.
But he's like throughout the movie though, he's like imagining the teacher giving him a good grade and all this stuff. Like he's imagining doing good. He's imagining the Red Ryder BB gun. He's like fantasizing and stuff like that. Like, he's just being like watching it now. You're just seeing this kid just being a kid. You know what I mean? And it's just kind of watching this kid be traumatized and then letting it all out. From a therapist point of view, is kind of what I'm seeing.
Do either of y'all still have your first Red Ryder?
Oh no, I got it taken away because I shot at my neighbor.
See, I've got my first Red Ryder, and that's going to my firstborn son.
Not my neighbor, his window.
And then I'll get him. I'll get him a 22, and I'll give the Red Ryder to my second-born son.
But so many iconic scenes in that movie. When his little brother, is dressed in the snow coat and looks like a little starfish running down the street.
The tongue on the
such a classic.
The
one.
tongue.
Yeah, that taught us all a valuable lesson about putting our tongue on a cold pole.
They put a vacuum.
That sounded wrong.
Yeah, they put a.
We know
that's what she said.
We know you've had a lot.
That's what she said.
Of experience.
Did you just? That's what she said yourself. I did.
They put a.
Don't put your tongue on cold poles.
They put a vacuum on a hole.
Yep.
To make that work. Just so I had to look that up to see like how they made that work because it looks so real.
Yep.
I just thought that was interesting. I thought it was also funny.
It was an Auric.
When the teacher opened the drawer and all that stuff, like that clattering teeth were in it and stuff like that, like the little Easter eggs and stuff. But yeah, that was such a that's such an adorable movie. But also, if you ever get the chance, the Christmas Story house in Cleveland, go check it out. You can actually go see the house, and you can stay at the Bumpus's house next door, and they have a shop and stuff like that, old cars and stuff you can see. It's a pretty cool experience. It's a very small house. You can see the bathroom where Ralphie sat in and had to put soap in his mouth and stuff like that. It's a really cool experience if you ever get the chance to do that.
Oh, hell, I was ready to move on, but you brought up the soap, and that was my favorite scene with Mom, is after she sends Ralphie out, she puts the soap in her own mouth to taste it, and she's like, oh my God, no.
Yeah.
Just to see what she was doing to her own son. Like that was another instance of that's a good mom.
Well, Sam, why don't you take the next one?
I'm taking the next one.
Oh, you're taking the next one.
Okay, you can take the next one.
I guess that's true. You got a picture of John McClane in your background. So
I'm taking the next one because I just wanted to talk about Die Hard and Lethal Weapon real quick. First of all, before we get into Die Hard in and of itself, now there's a lot of discussion about whether movies like Die Hard and Lethal Weapon are Christmas movies. Now, first of all, I want to point out Joe Silver, who was a producer for Die Hard and Lethal Weapon, he purposely made movies on Christmas time to get residual checks when they played movies during that time. Okay. So there's a reason that he put those in that time. Okay. So this is a fairly new discussion. Now, Sam, you want to go ahead and introduce Die Hard? I think that's something you wanted to do. And
In a
then we'll talk about
world,
11.
no. Die Hard is the ultimate Christmas movie. It is about a man who is doing everything he can to spend Christmas with his family. And coincidentally, he's going through a divorce and traveling across the country from New York to LA to spend spend Christmas with his family. And man, the hijinks and everything that goes on along the way just don't want him to spend Christmas with his family. You've got a fantastic cast of characters. You've got Snape. You've got Trevette from Walker, Texas Ranger. You've got just so many great cast of characters. I mean, if White,
Those are the ones you go with on this?
yeah, of course.
That's what you're going with?
Why wouldn't I?
You skip the main actor.
Nah. That's implied.
Yeah. Everyone should just know.
Yes.
Uh,
But
no,
no,
you're doing great. You're doing great.
it is a fantastic movie. It is unequivocally a Christmas movie. It's just got Christmas values all throughout. And all I can say is ho ho ho, now I've got a machine gun.
Yeah. So released in 1988, starring Bruce Willis and Alan Rickman, directed by John McTiernan, known for Predator, Last Action Hero, The Hunt for Red October. So he's no stranger to the action movies. Have you guys watched the movies that made us? The one about Die Hard?
Yeah, a long time ago.
A long time
Yeah,
ago.
watch that on Netflix. It's good. McTiernan didn't even want to do this movie. He thought it was stupid. He hated doing it the whole time. Did not want to do this movie. And ended up being this huge hit that he never thought was going to happen. But it is such a fun movie, and it's like it definitely plays on that wish fulfillment of like where, especially, watching all these action movies, like you start daydreaming about like taking on terrorists. Like what happens if they come into my work? It is wish fulfillment. It is fun. John McClane is somebody you can relate to. And I think like the best part about this Die Hard that does it differently than the rest of them, the rest of the Die Hard movies, was that they made him human.
Yeah.
He was able to be injured. He was just as vulnerable as any other human being. He got lucky at times. Like that was basically how he survived.
Not to mention, the worst thing happens to him at the most inopportune moments. Like the glass breaks all around him while he's trying to fix his foot. So he ends up barefoot walking through glass. Like you're talking about making him human. That is a a humanizing moment right there.
Yeah. Well, and he, they set that whole thing so that he could, run through the glass. When they talk about it on the plane earlier, he's sitting next to the guy and he's like, "Oh, you're a nervous flyer? Oh, if you take your shoes off and curl your toes." And he's doing that in the bathroom when he's nervous about talking to Holly, his wife. And, through the rest of that, he's barefoot the whole time. You would think, though, if he had killed some terrorists, he would have just taken their shoes. But, whatever.
Listen,
Sometimes you don't have time.
If Office Christmas Party is a Christmas movie, then A Christmas Party Where Terrorists Take Over is a Christmas movie. The movie is on Christmas Eve.
Yep.
Winter Wonderland, Let It Snow, and Ode to the World, and Christmas in Hollis is on the soundtrack. His wife's name is Holly, okay? It's a Christmas movie. There's no doubt about it. Santa Claus is in it, and again, as Sam said, now he has a machine gun.
Yeah. Well, and I love like the parts where he just kind of improvises the survival stuff. Like, the roof's about to blow up. He grabs the fire hose, ties it around himself. He knows it's a terrible idea. He does it anyways. And he somehow makes it out of that alive. And it's just because he had no other choice. That was his only way out. And again, he just survives. And then even after that, there's even more tension as he's slowly being dragged down towards the window. Like, it's just so well done. It's such a great movie. And it was very controversial at the time because they chose Bruce Willis to play him. And Bruce Willis was known for comedy at this time. The only thing he had really been doing was the show Moonlighting.
Yep.
So they all thought like, "Hey, what are you doing?" he's a comedy actor. Why are you putting him in this action movie? And a lot of people were like, this is going to suck. It's going to be terrible. Like, this movie had the odds stacked against it, but it came out to be just an instant classic.
To your point, yeah, they made it a point that like this guy did not know what to fucking do. He was improvising the whole time. Like, he's in this office when he sees a terrorist there, and he's like, "Oh shit!" and he just like locks the door. Like, you can tell he had no plan at all, and he's just flying by the foot of his sleeve. Like, he does not know what to do, and the look on Bruce Willis's face is just great acting, because he looks like he's scared shitless this whole time. And that scene where Hans Gruber is acting like he's like Chad, that scene is like, that's my favorite scene of the movie, where he gives him the gun and it's not loaded. And I don't know, there's something about that scene that just cracks me up.
Yep.
So, okay, I want to talk about that scene because it is one of the greatest scenes in the movie. It was unplanned originally. And they kind of threw it in because Alan Rickman was messing around on set doing his fake American accent. So they threw it in there. But on top of that, this scene also shows how much of a criminal mastermind he is. Because when Bruce Willis is asking him, like, oh, what's your name? He has the names of everybody on that floor memorized because Bruce Willis is looking at that plaque that says all their names. Yep. It's like he knows all this. This was like an indication that he was to the next level of like criminal mastermind. And it's those subtle things in that movie that make it so great.
Hell yeah.
And
that's so good. I love that movie.
The most subtle part of that scene is him asking him and the slight pause before he answers. Like that right there just sold it for me. And you have so far as I know, the one Run DMC Christmas song.
Oh yeah, yeah.
In that movie.
And
Christmas in Hollis.
Well, and Carl Winslow, baby.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, and that same scene is how he figures out that he's one of the terrorists is from his watch.
Yep.
Because he sees his watch, and like I was reading about that, and it's a German timepiece.
Yep.
So they were able to figure out that he was one of the terrorists. Like John had, I mean, he didn't know for sure, but he had the suspicion that like this guy's one of them, which is why he unloaded the gun. So really just interesting stuff all around with that movie. And I think it's, again, it is a holiday classic.
I guess it didn't go with the structure that we were doing. Because like people keep arguing with me that Die Hard isn't a Christmas movie.
And they're wrong.
I know.
Yeah, they're stupid.
I know they're wrong.
You shouldn't be hanging out with that kind of people, Rick.
No, well, my patient's seen
Salty Earth.
John McClane behind me here. And I'm like, John McClane's my absolute hero. All right, so next we're going to talk about Lethal Weapon. Actually, let me pull up. Do you already know about Shane Black? I'm going to pull up Shane Black.
Yeah.
Oh, you want me?
So Shane, yeah. So I can take this one.
Okay, then I want to
so
talk
Lethal
about
Weapon.
Lethal Weapon real quick. I just have two things to say. But
sure. Well, Lethal Weapon was released in 1987, starring Mel Gibson and Danny Glover, directed by Richard Donner and written by Shane Black. Now, Richard Donner, of course, known for Superman. He also did Scrooge. He's done a couple of other Christmas movies. Shane Black, I think his first like big role he was really in was Predator. And he was one of the soldiers that was with Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's part of the Special Forces team. He's done a lot of movies since then, and mostly as a writer and director. I believe he did the recent Predator movie, Predators, not Prey, Predators, or The Predator. I'm sorry. It was The Predator.
Really?
Shane Black did The Predator.
Predator.
Yeah, he did The Predator, the newer one that came out.
Yeah.
With like the that was on Earth where they were chasing the autistic kid.
Oh yeah, that was terrible.
Oh shit!
Yeah, but Shane Black did that movie.
And he was
a lot of his stuff is actually been pretty
good.
good.
He was a writer on Iron Man 3 and Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
What was that? Yeah. Wasn't there like a Bruce Willis? Never mind. I guess I'm getting off subject. I'll stop.
But anyways, Lethal Weapon, fantastic movie. If you I don't know if you haven't seen it, I don't know why you're listening to this podcast. To be honest, it's such a good movie. I'm not trying to segment our audience here, but basically, you know what, Rick, you tell the story. Tell the story of Lethal Weapon.
Oh, I don't want to tell the story. That's too much pressure on me. Okay. So, Murtaugh wants to retire. He's getting ready for retirement, And Martin Riggs is a Vietnam veteran, and he wants to die. Okay, I want to focus on the fact that it's a Christmas movie. Okay, so
All right, go watch Lethal Weapon. If you haven't seen it, stop this podcast. Go watch Lethal Weapon and come back. If you haven't seen
We'll
it,
So
see
here's
you
the thing.
in 2 hours and
there-
15 minutes.
there's this thing.
Yeah.
There's this thing here. Like buddy cop movies. This is the ultimate buddy cop movie. Okay, like you want to talk buddy cop movies. This is it. Like there's no other buddy cop movie. This is the ultimate buddy cop movie. But here's the thing about it being a Christmas movie. Okay, because people try to tell me that it can happen any time of the year. Listen, it opens up with a drug bust on a Christmas tree farm. That cannot happen on any time of the year. You can't do a drug bust on a Christmas tree farm any time of the freaking year. So that's bullcrap. But here's the thing. A Christmas miracle happens. All right. Riggs, who's this crazy guy that everybody thinks is acting suicidal so that he can pull the nutbag pension, wants to kill himself because his wife died. He is forced to, Murtaugh is forced to partner with him. And so they end up, through a series of hijinks, end up becoming best friends. And Riggs becomes very close with his family. And he doesn't want to kill himself anymore. And they love each other. And it's a Christmas miracle. Yes, there's a lot of gratuitous nudity and violence and drugs.
wonderful.
And what's his name? What's the actor's name? The bad guy.
Sorry, I just got stuck on Christmas Miracle.
Gary
Gary
Busey.
Busey. And Gary Busey
Gary
is
Busey is that.
an asshole. But a Christmas miracle.
I'm with you on that,
a
Sam.
Christmas miracle. And then next thing you know, Murtaugh's daughter wants to get with them and stuff, whatever. But
That was a pretty horrible explanation, but you did your best, and we're proud of you.
but Riggs doesn't
I mean,
want
he's
to kill
not wrong.
himself.
It is a Christmas Miracle.
Riggs doesn't want to kill himself
It is.
anymore.
Well, and to your point, the Christmas gift that he gives Murtaugh in the end of the movie
Chlamydia.
is what? The bullet. He gives him the bullet
That's
Yeah.
true.
that he was going to use to kill himself. He gives him that as a Christmas gift. He's like, I don't need this anymore, type of thing.
And
Yep.
then further on down the
So-
line, Murtaugh's stuck in a tub with a bomb strapped to it.
He's stuck on the
It was on a
shitter.
toilet.
Yeah.
Oh, on the shitter.
That's Lethal Weapon 2.
Yep.
You know, just go, if you're listening, just go watch the whole Lethal Weapon series.
Yeah, it's like the greatest. And then Joe Pesci gets involved.
He does in Lethal Weapon 2.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot he was in
And
that.
Chris Rock is in Lethal Weapon 4 with Jet Li.
Oh,
Yeah.
crap.
Not
Yeah.
the best.
But seriously,
Man, they introduced a lot of the best actors. Like Joe Pesci was nothing
Mhm.
before that, and then he went on to make My Cousin Vinny. Like hell.
but yeah, that's
Yeah.
all I wanted to point out. Like, Lethal Weapon is a Christmas movie, and we are not talking about like We Are Die Hard, and we should be. There is
Yeah.
Christmas music in it. A Christmas miracle happens. Like this guy that wants to kill himself. How is that different from It's a
Alright,
Wonderful Life?
You have
How is that-
convinced
Yeah.
me. Lethal Weapon is now number 6 on my Christmas
you.
movies.
Thank you. It's one of my top 10. Okay, it's not up there with Die Hard.
Yeah.
It's not up there with Die Hard, but
No.
it's up there.
Well, you heard it here first, folks. Lethal Weapon gets the Spit Take seal of Christmas.
Thank you. Meeting adjourned.
Meeting adjourned. Not really, though.
Oh, we gotta go on to
stick
the next
around.
one,
We
which
got
is
more.
a really good one.
Yeah. Now, hold on. I want to introduce one more that we didn't put on the list, and it just popped into my head randomly, and I started kind of laughing in my head. It's just kind of cheating because it's a TV show, but the South Park Critters Christmas is one that
Oh,
I can't
yeah.
miss every year. That is the best episode of South Park ever. And the whole thing is just the premise of it's Cartman writing a story. And it's to the point where the commercial breaks and it's like, it's a Woodland Critters Christmas. Hail Satan.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
It's so
yeah. I know
bad.
what you're talking about. It took me a second. It took me a second. Yes, they got all the red eyes and stuff. Yes. I was thinking of like
They-
critters.
No.
Or animals.
the-
yeah.
Yeah.
The Woodland Critters
Yes.
Christmas. And they
Oh,
teach
yeah.
the
So
mountain
evil.
lions. They teach the mountain lions how to give abortion so they can abort the Antichrist. And it's just so fucked up and so funny. And the whole thing ends up just being a gag for Cartman to say that Kyle died of AIDS.
Yep.
At the very end. And the best part is those critters come back in the Imagination Land episode. And, and all of, like the worst.
It's a drug trip.
It's the funniest episode, though. It is the funniest episode of South Park because it's so off the wall.
I think the first time I was watching that, I might have been on drugs.
Is that the one that introduced Mr. Hanky?
No, that was way back in season 1.
I couldn't remember.
The Woodland Critters Christmas was like season 5 or 6, I think, somewhere in there.
Yeah, they're at like 27 seasons. It's hard to keep track.
Yeah.
All I know is I can do the Mr. Hanky voice, and I'm proud of that. So
it's still an episode that when I watch it, I will laugh until my stomach hurts because it is so ridiculous. And I had to cheat a little bit on that one. I don't have to say much more about that. That is just so goddamn funny. And it's just like kind of like the high point of that show.
All right. Well, before we get too far into that, maybe we add the best Christmas episodes of TV shows to next episode.
Good.
Fair enough. We can do that. We can do that.
That requires some research.
Yeah. But I think we've all got them. But go ahead, Sam. Introduce the next one.
Is that Noel?
No, Batman.
Oh.
I was going to say, no, you don't skip Batman.
I'm skipping Batman. We're going to Noel. Noel.
No, because he bites off his nose.
All right. We'll circle back to Batman. We'll circle back to Batman Returns.
No.
Go ahead. Introduce Noel.
Gushing out of your nose.
Noel is probably other than Elf, like the one Christmas movie my wife and I agree on, we have to watch every year, maybe 2 or 3 times. And Anna Kendrick is just cute as a button through the entire movie, and I personally have just a happy feeling in my heart every time I see it. So I don't have a whole lot else to add other than it's a fantastic movie. If you don't know what it is basically the Santa Claus without Tim Allen.
Mm-hmm. It's playing on Disney Plus right now. Came out in 2019, so it's fairly recent. Written and directed by Mark Lawrence, who at that time probably his best movie he made was Miss Congeniality,
which was a good movie too.
I do love Noel as well. That was a really good movie. It was a lot of fun. It, took the concept and it did it really well of like making a lady Santa, towards the end. Spoiler alert, but great movie. And I really like that one. I think it's really cute. We watched that one when we were decorating for Christmas this year. So I like that movie. Rick, thoughts on that?
I think she's adorable. It's a good movie. You guys said it all. I like it.
Yeah. If you haven't seen Noel, watch it. You'll love it. It's right up there with Elf for me.
Anna Kendrick's number 3 on my I want to get a hug from. So.
All right, Rick, go ahead and take care of Batman for us.
Batman Returns, 1992. Michael Keaton and Danny DeVito, directed by Tim Burton, who we all know from such hits as Nightmare on Elm Street. Just joking. Nightmare Before Christmas. Edward Scissorhands, Beetlejuice. Where was I at? And scored by Danny Elfman, who does a lot of good music. Batman Returns basically has some of the best like bad guys in movie like superhero history. I think Michelle Pfeiffer is Catwoman, probably my favorite Catwoman ever. I don't think she's
you don't like Halle Berry?
Michelle Pfeiffer was a fantastic Catwoman.
Not at all. Not at all. But she was pretty cheesy Catwoman, but still excellent.
Yeah.
It had Danny DeVito as the Penguin, which Danny DeVito is just God. Just Danny DeVito, man. He is just amazing in that. Michael Keaton is the best Batman, bar none. I don't know why I'm sure I know why he didn't continue playing Batman. But there is Christmas themes throughout the whole movie. Penguin's henchmen are dressed in Christmas theme throughout the whole movie. I think they have Christmas like weaponry throughout the whole movie. Pretty much Penguin's trying to they're trying to make Penguin the mayor. I don't know if that's a good description, but they're trying to make Penguin the Bear, he was abandoned by his parents, and then he's trying to get revenge on everybody because he's pissed off at everybody, and that's pretty much
I
it.
think he was abandoned by his parents on Christmas Eve, but I might be remembering that
Something
wrong.
like that. He was abandoned and he ended up in the
yeah.
sewers, and a bunch of penguins took him in for some reason. There's penguins in the sewers.
But yeah, I mean, and it is a great movie, and they push the Ice Princess off during the tree lighting ceremony. Like, there's a lot of different stuff in there that has to do with Christmas. They even talk about mistletoe and stuff being deadly, which is how I learned that mistletoe is deadly.
As a quick aside, live action Catwoman. Who is y'all's favorite?
Catwoman? Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yeah, who did the best job playing Catwoman in live action?
That's a tough one because I want to say Michelle Pfeiffer, but at the same time, I really like Zoe Kravitz.
Michelle Pfeiffer. Am I missing something?
Michelle Pfeiffer is a close second. The number one to me is from Gotham, the TV show, Cameron Bicondova. She nailed that fucking part.
No.
I don't really watch that.
She nailed it. I mean,
I don't think I got that far.
She wasn't necessarily Catwoman, but she was Selena Kyle. She was so good in that role.
Oh no! She was the young. They were young, wasn't she?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember. I know what you're talking about.
For even being the younger version of the character, she just nailed it. And she was
good. I'll give you that. She was good. Holy shit.
Yeah. Fair enough. But yeah, great. Okay, yeah. I don't think we need to say much more else about Batman Returns. That is a great movie. It is probably one of the first movies that had a great sequel to it. I'm sorry, that it was the great sequel. Yep. The sequels after that were not good.
Hey,
but
you Batman and Robin had the classic line, "Holy metal rocks, Batman."
Oh my god, I fucking hate that movie so much. Fucking bat nipples. Fucking bat nipples. What the hell? Cool. I'll introduce the next one because it's a favorite in my house. Christmas with the Cranks, 2004. Tim Allen and Jamie Lee Curtis, based on a John Grisham book. The movie is bad, but I love it. I love it so much. And I'm gonna put it's not good, but I love it. And Tim Allen, of course, is just so amazing in that part. It's a movie that I can quote from time to time. You know, Dan Aykroyd is he's good in that movie, but like Tim Allen, my favorite line in that whole movie is where his wife, Jamie Lee Curtis, she's like, oh yeah, our daughter's coming home with Enrique. And Tim Allen goes, what's Enrique? And it's just so Tim Allen. And it makes me laugh every time. And it's probably something stupid that nobody else laughs at, but it's something that I enjoy. But it's one that me and my wife love, and we watch every Christmas. Basically, premise of the movie is their daughter goes off on to Peace Corps or whatever, and they decide they're going to skip Christmas, go on a cruise. Hilarity ensues. The whole neighborhood doesn't like that they're skipping Christmas. They make a big deal out of it. Again, not a great movie, and you might watch it and say, I don't know what you're thinking because this is stupid. But again, it's something that I absolutely love. And again, this is movies we love.
It's entertaining.
So I don't give a shit.
I'll give you that.
It is.
It's fun.
It's got some good lines in it. It is. Cool. And then we're moving on to the big one, Elf. Rick.
Yes. Elf's probably number 3 on my list. Is it 2003? Yeah, 20 years of Elf. This year.
20 years.
2003. Will Ferrell and James Caan. Jon Favreau directed it.
James Caan. Show some respect.
James Caan. Jon Favreau directed it. Basically, Buddy the Elf snuck onto Santa's sleigh, and he was raised by elves in the North Pole, and he wants to visit his dad in New York. We watch this with Die Hard every year at the beginning of December to kick off the Christmas season. I probably watch it a couple times. Will Ferrell, this is what made Will Ferrell big. And he does such a magical job with this. I mean, his acting chops in this just tickles me. He is so childlike in this movie. And Zooey Deschanel, like his chemistry, Zooey Deschanel in this movie is hilarious. but like his interactions with his dad, how his dad's so cranky and how he's so happy, just cracks me up. But what really gets me at the end when, and spoiler alert, if you haven't seen this after 20 years, I don't know how you haven't seen Elf. Also, the manager in what is it called, Grissom's, he is hilarious.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but he cracks me up. But at the end, when everybody gets Christmas spirit, it always makes me cry every single time. It's like I'm watching an episode of Grey's Anatomy. It makes me cry because everybody gets Christmas spirit when the dad starts singing because he's not singing. He's like, "Dad, sing," and then the dad starts singing, so he starts singing, and then it flips up. I'm sure everybody's liking my rant. That's not even entertaining, but it just fills me with joy just watching this movie, and it just cracks me up. It's just such an adorable movie. I love it.
Well, and the great part about this, so if again, I'm going to go back to the movies that made us on Netflix. They had one about Elf, and so not only did it make Will Ferrell big, it made Jon Favreau big because he wasn't really doing directing at that time. They were small projects, but this is the one that got him into the mainstream. And it's been stated that without Elf, we wouldn't have gotten Iron Man. So it was had a huge impact on a lot of the stuff that we see nowadays. And I didn't realize this, but this was Will Ferrell's first starring role. He'd always played supporting actors up until this point. So this was kind of his breakout. And I mean, obviously his career took off after that to the point where he's producing some of the biggest TV shows and movies of all time now. But yeah, awesome movie and so much fun, lots of heart. It's timeless. I love it.
It's the one movie my wife has a rule on. We cannot watch it unless there's snow on the ground, and that is the only time I will ever watch it. It's a good movie, but
Fair enough.
holy cow, it gets to be too much during this time of the year.
Oh, I love it. I just crack up the whole movie.
And
it's one of those movies that makes my belly hurt when I laugh.
And it's one of two movies.
It's a great
one of two movies I know James Caan sings in. And if it's not El Dorado, I don't care.
Fair enough. Cool. Awesome. Love Elf. Such a good movie. Sam, next one.
So the next one after Elf is we've got the Santa Claus. So 1994, Tim Allen, directed by John Paskin. It's another fantastic movie. But holy cow, it has spawned so much that it is so hard to keep up with. There have been 4 or 5 sequels, as well as a TV show. And
2 seasons.
Yeah, 2 seasons of a TV show.
Yeah.
And I think I've seen the first season, and I'm like, I love Tim Allen, but man, I'm getting tired of the Santa Claus.
I do love that movie so much, and I watched it yesterday. After my daughter went down for a nap, I turned it on, and it still holds up. And I love that movie, and it was like a little bit of cheese in it, a little cheesy, but it was so well done, and it definitely hits you in the feels. But then you get into like the Santa Claus 2 and the Santa Claus 3, and they went full cheese on those, and and they got kind of stupid.
I had to go to the DMV today.
The first one was like,
and it's close to my house, so I left work, go to the DMV, and I stopped by my house to just say hi to my wife and give her a kiss. And she had the Santa Claus 3 on, and I was just like, oh, gosh.
So
why? You don't have kids here. Why are you watching this?
We watched the first 2. First of all, the second one came out 8 years after the first one. So, David Krumholtz, he came back for the second one. I don't know. He looked young enough, I guess. I guess he looked kind of old in the first one anyways. He was like the bigger elf.
The
first one, first of all, it was very, took on a big subject of divorce for, kids. No one ever talks about that. How, splitting between parents. That's a big subject, I felt tension watching that movie, when I was watching it the other day. But I want to point out Judge Reinhold really pissed me off in that movie. He was so annoying. He's sitting there going, "Well, I am a doctor." Like when they're
Yep.
when they're sitting there with the principal,
Call me.
and it's like,
Yeah.
I would, like, as a therapist, I would never sit there, "Hey, I am a therapist. Why doesn't everybody listen to me?" I would never do that. You know what I mean? Like, what kind
Yeah.
of? And everybody's like, "Yeah, what do you got to say?" Like, I'd sit there and go, "You want to get slapped?" Like, that would be my
Yeah.
reply.
And not
Well, and that's the intent of his character too, is to be kind of annoying and douchey, and you kind of want to hate him a little
not
bit.
to mention what person, regardless of what their chosen career field is, wants to do their job outside of job hours.
Right.
Who? Because I'm not walking around going, "Hey, I'm a service engineer.
Right.
You know, you need any service engineer things fixed? Let me fix them for you." No, fuck that.
Right.
Leave me alone. Let me go in my room. Just go away.
Yeah, yeah. You're like
Yeah.
you're like walking out of the store. You see somebody with a car broken down. You turn around. Not you. I mean, I'm not saying you're a mechanic, but like, say you're a mechanic. Never mind. You get what I'm saying.
I will help, but I will help begrudgingly.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't. I wouldn't know
Well,
what I'm doing. I'd probably blow it up.
Yeah. Well, back to the movie. I mean, it's such a, like, again, it's such a classic, and I remember going to see it with my family in the theaters. And I think I was a teenager at that time, but I wanted to see this movie. And I remember just how much I loved it when I walked out of that theater. And Tim Allen just like absolutely killed it, and that was the first time Disney ever broke their rule about not hiring felons. And it was at the bequest of John Pasquin, who directed the movie, because he also did Home Improvement. So he was like, obviously him and Tim Allen were close, and he said, "Hey, we need this guy to do this movie. It's the right thing to do." And I think if you had put probably 100 other actors in that part, it wouldn't have been as successful.
No.
That's
I agree.
my personal take on it. Awesome. So actually, Rick, I want you to introduce the next one, Violent Night, because I haven't seen that movie, but it is on my list.
Violent Night, 2022. David Harbour, directed by Tommy Wirkola. Hold on, let me look it up real quick. No, I just need to look up the actors because I've been working all day and I want to make sure. It's starring David Harbour, Johnny Leguizamo. Basically, Johnny Leguizamo is a terrorist, and he's trying to get money from this rich family, and David Harbour's Santa. And basically, I'm not going to ruin too much of it, but Santa's got a past, and and it's basically, it pays homage to movies like Die Hard and Home Alone, and it does have some very like gory scenes that'll make you wince, and it is funny. John Leguizamo's pretty douchey in it, which I like. Beverly D'Angelo is in it from Christmas Vacation. I
Nice.
definitely recommend it if you are a fan of horror action. Like, it's not Die Hard because there is a little bit more. It is a bit more gory than Die Hard. Like, I would say it is the greatest movie of our generation if you're looking for all the above type of movie.
Cool. Yeah, that one's on my list. I really want to watch it. I like David Harbour. I think he's a good actor. I think the first time I ever saw him was in Stranger Things. But he's been pretty good in everything I've seen him since. I didn't see the Hellboy movie. I heard it wasn't good, but again, I didn't see it, so I don't know. I might have liked it. Sam, anything to add?
Nope. I want to see it. Haven't seen it yet.
Cool. I'm actually gonna skip ahead because we're running a little long here, and I'm only gonna do one more on my side that I love to watch, which is
All right.
Krampus.
So let's
Uh,
each pick one more out of the next list.
Agreed. Yeah, let's just do one more. So I really enjoy Krampus because it is probably the only horror Christmas movie I actually enjoy. Because it didn't take itself seriously. It knew what it was. It was funny. It had the horror elements that were all right in there. It was, let's see, what was it? It was released in 2015, starring Adam Scott, David Koechner, directed by Michael Dougherty, who had a pretty extensive career as a director. But I love this movie. Again, it's just so funny. Watching some of the things, the Jack in the Box eating the kid, and the little gingerbread men running around like attacking people. Like it has a good blend of horror and humor, which is what we were talking about in the last episode about Evil Dead. And it takes on a kind of a German fairy tale about evil Santa who basically takes children away when they've been naughty and everything. And it leaves you with kind of a little bit of a head scratcher ending. But Adam Scott's awesome in it. And it was interesting because I was like, this movie looks kind of dumb, but it's got these great actors. And a lot of them were comedy actors too. So I was like, all right, maybe they're going for something else. I did really enjoy the movie the first time I saw it. And that's something that I like to watch every year. Because as people out there have probably learned about me, I am a big horror fan. Did you guys see that one?
Yeah, it's been a while. Probably 2 years since I've seen it, and it's there. It's a thing that exists.
It's good. It's one of my favorites. I absolutely love that movie because if I want to watch something horror and Christmas, it's there. So I mean, that's really all I got to say about that one.
That's all I got to say about that.
All right.
Pretty much all I got to say about that.
We'll go to my number 3 or 4. Not entirely sure. My favorites will swap around a little bit. Scrooged. I love this movie. It is such a great take on that classic movie, but like, holy cow, Bill Murray is fantastic in it. He does such a good, unhinged, executive in this movie. And it's such a good take on the classic Scrooge movie. I can't say anything anything more about it. It's fantastic.
It is. I love that movie. That's another one I don't miss every year. Bill Murray's so great. And again, it's another Richard Donner movie. And I've read a lot of things on IMDb about how he kept telling Bill Murray to keep screaming louder and louder, which is why he's so intense in the movie. And Bill Murray used to get like really pissed at him about that. There was a lot of like stuff going on behind the scenes that's pretty funny when you read about it, but it is a good one and it's a great twist on everything. The Ghost of Christmas Present was by far my favorite.
Yes.
It's another one.
It's
another one that gave me nightmares as a kid because I watched it probably far too young. But
Carol Kane.
Yeah,
she's about one of the most underrated funny women of all time.
Yes, 100%. Absolutely agree. But yeah, I distinctly remember having nightmares about golf balls falling out of people.
Yeah. It had a little bit of horror to it. And but yeah, no, Carol Kane, when she comes out and she's just abusing the hell out of him, it's so funny. It's so funny. It's so good.
Probably led to some of the things that I'm into in my current life.
Yeah, sure. Whatever. BDSM.
If this makes it to YouTube, if anybody wonders why I'm doing what I'm doing, the Packers are about to lose.
Hey, go Packers.
Rick's making a bunch of noises. But yeah, no, Scrooge is a fantastic movie. I love that one. It's one that I try not to miss every year as well.
Probably my number 2 GOAT, behind who I will talk about next. And yes, Scrooge is probably a top 10 Christmas movie of mine. And Bobcat Goldthwait is in it.
Yes,
he's freaking hilarious. I think it's funny when he comes in with the shotgun at the end, and Bill Murray loves him all of a sudden.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that movie is very underrated, and I hate it because I try to watch it with my wife. I don't think, Lana could probably watch it with me now. She'd be 11.
Yeah.
I wouldn't let her watch it with me earlier. And they're doing the Tiny Tim commercials and all that stuff. Like the commercials in that
so
are hilarious. They're like, someone had seizures or what? And they're like, we need to do more.
Yep.
It's so
Oh
great.
my God.
Bill Murray is such freaking that movie. It's so great.
It's fantastic. Quick honorable mention for me is Muppets Christmas Carol. Rick, I don't think you were going to choose that one,
Yes.
but Muppets Christmas Carol is the
I
honorable
was gonna say
mention for me.
Kermit is number one go.
Yeah.
No, well, that means I get an honorable mention because
Yep. 100% go
because
for
there's
Let's
because I had to pick between two, but I gotta go with the go. And so obviously I gotta say Home Alone, 1990, Macaulay Culkin, Joe Pesci, Daniel Stern, and those are not the go. Directed by Christopher Columbus, and it's a John Hughes joint, who is probably one of the greatest of all time. So there is first of all, Kevin McAllister is like the worst kid in the
Yep.
world at the beginning of that movie. It is
Yeah.
great to see him get better and better throughout the movie. It is, as a kid watching that, like, I think we grew up in such a special time watching these movies. Like watching Kevin McAllister shop and watching that as a kid and being home alone. Like, you can't watch that movie if you're not a kid. You know what I mean? Like,
and
it's different.
don't watch
being a
it
kid and
and think about inflation, because you look at his $19.72 bill, I think it was, that got him all the food he needed, and that's $80 now.
That's so
Yes.
crazy.
But who doesn't, who doesn't say, keep the change, you filthy animal, who doesn't,
Oh
like,
yeah.
Yeah.
who doesn't quote that movie? Who doesn't, yes,
Right.
Joe Pesci and Stern are fantastic. Everybody, what's his brother's name? Gus. Everybody knows the scary neighbor with the shovel, and but the GOAT, John Candy,
Yep.
greatest all time, Gus Polinski. Like, you forget he's in the movie, but like, he steals the show when he's in the movie.
Yep.
He's the polka king of the Midwest. They're big in Sheboygan. But like, the fact that John Candy is in that movie makes that movie one of the greatest to me. Like, it's just the icing on the top to me,
Yep.
because John
Yeah.
Candy is my favorite actor of all time. What do you
Oh,
guys
yeah.
think?
Yeah. When he shot that part in, I think, like a day or something like that, like he just happened to be on set and they had it. Yeah. And I agree. He is great in it. The movie definitely plays with a suspension of disbelief a lot. But I do enjoy that movie. That is like something, again, that's just completely timeless
Yeah.
to me. So go ahead, Rick. What's your honorable mention?
I have to say Bad Santa.
Yeah.
That's a great movie.
I think we can all agree on that.
What's his name? Thornton?
Billy
No,
Bob
not no.
Thornton.
His the little kid.
You fucking
Oh.
with me?
Thurman. Yeah. Where he comes in with the pickle, he goes, "I made you a pickle. Why is it brown?" that kid is like probably he's a top 5 greatest character of all time. He's
Yeah.
up there, not quite up there with Aunt Bethany, but he's a top 5 greatest character of all time for me.
Were you dropped on your head as a kid or something? On my head?
You guys want some sandwiches? With this family of fucking sandwiches. Oh, I gotta watch it. I gotta watch it.
That is such
I gotta go
It's
watch
such a
it.
good movie. And then John Ritter's in it.
Yep.
And
John Ritter,
Bernie Mac's in it. Like, 2 greats that are now passed away.
Yeah.
But like, John Ritter and Bernie Mac are in it together for such a short time. But you don't understand, like, when those two together were such a good comedy team when they were in there
hell
together.
yeah.
I think that was underrated, watching them sit together and do their thing. They were so fun together.
And I think that was John Ritter's last movie
Yeah.
too.
They were such a
Bernie Mac had that serious look on his face, and John Ritter's all scared. It was so
they
funny.
were so diametrically opposed. I really wish we had been able to see more of those two together. And I don't give a shit what the movie
No.
was. I'd have been happy to see them in anything together. But just to see them in that, oh God, it was so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, just that scene where they're all punching each other in the dick when he's trying to teach them how to fight. one of the funniest scenes in that movie.
Oh, it's so stupid.
When he tells him, he's like, yell at him. Yell at him. Jesus Christ, kid.
That kid is so great. Who found that kid? Whoever found that kid, like, I hope he's like in charge of something.
I
Like,
guarantee you
whoever
there was
found
a damn
charge of something.
casting call, and they were just like, "All right, pick him. He looks weird."
Whoever did that is like needs to be in charge of something.
Oh man, I think I want to go watch that movie after this.
Oh my god.
That is a good one. That is a good one. Did you guys see the second
Yeah.
one? Fucking terrible.
I still laughed. There were still parts. I did.
Yeah,
it
it
was
had
bad.
moments.
I
It
mean,
had
it's
moments,
kind of like
but it was
Anchorman
bad.
2. There's still parts.
Yeah. Anchorman 2.
But yeah, Anchorman 2. Yeah.
Packers lost.
Harrison Ford was a werewolf.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Oh fuck! What are we
Yeah,
doing?
And what's her name? What's the girl's name in that movie? She was
I
fine.
don't remember her name in the movie, but that was Laura Graham.
Oh,
Yeah, she was good.
God, she was
She was
so
in
good.
Gilmore Girls.
Yeah, she was.
Yeah,
She was
screw you,
perfect.
girl.
She was great in that movie. What was the little guy? That little guy. What was his name? He was in Me, Myself, and Irene too.
I want to say I should screw Gilmore Girls just because Danielle loves it and that's like her favorite show of all time. I don't care. It's fine. I love you.
I fucked a lot of fat chicks, but I've never fornicated anybody.
You talking about my stick? What? You talking about my fuck stick? What do you say? Said there's something wrong with my stick.
That's such a funny movie. It had the best lines.
Where he's like looks like he's behind the bar like serving drinks and stuff like that. The bartender comes back, he's like, get the fuck out of here.
Oh man. All right. I think we've had enough Christmas movies reminiscing today. All right, let's close this thing out.
Oh,
All right, that's going to do it for us, for all of us here at Spit Take. If you think we missed a great holiday movie or plan on watching one of the ones we mentioned, leave a comment below. Make sure to share this with your friends. We also have a YouTube channel with our favorite clips from tonight's episode, and we'll be doing some game reviews on there soon. Join us next time for a special end of the year episode talking about the best of 2023. Till then, have a Merry Christmas, Happy Holiday, and we'll see you next time.
Don't forget to like if you liked it and comment if you had something to say. Have a good night.
don't up your life.